everybody, it is Monday night, the Monday night after the fall back time change. I do live in a state that does do the time changes, so it is already very very dark here. Um and so hopefully there's enough light to get you a good video tonight of this, and hopefully some good pictures also. I don't do a lot of cards. Not that I don't love them. I just have a tendency to do more like tags and ornament styles, but I do enjoy making cards, and I always have. I guess that was probably some of the first things I did with rubber stamps years ago when I fell in love with rubber stamping. And I think part of I think, um, not always wanting to undertake cards is I always think, oh, well, I need to add this and I need to add this. And I feel like I can never get a card completely finished. Whereas if I'm doing tags or ornaments, I don't seem to struggle with that as much. So I'm always wanting to add one more thing. But anyway, I do enjoy making cards, and there's sometimes certain scenes are in my mind when I see stamps that, a card just works better on. And that was the case with this. Is I just absolutely pictured a little gingerbread bakery when I saw Jill's new stamp set. And so that I just kind of started playing around with it in my mind of how I wanted to do it. And I settled on doing a card. And I think part of it too, my mom is so very talented. She can sew and cook and make miniatures. My mom growing up made doll houses and Santa rooms, like all in miniature scale, and used to actually attend shows and whatnot, and show some of her work. She was so good at it. And I have never done miniatures, but I think my love of doing little scenes and rooms probably falls back to watching my mom create things like hat shops and like a Santa's workshop and greenhouses and things like that out of miniature scale. So I think that's the backstory as to why I love to make scenes out of paper. But anyway, that this one I had so much fun making this, and that's the other thing. When I started out with this, I thought to myself, because if y'all watch my stuff, I usually end up doing something pink, and especially pink and green. And so this time I really kind of wanted to challenge myself to not add any pink. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I was just trying to make myself use some different colors that I normally don't use. And so, or not always my go-to pink. So I just kind of leaned into my mint greens, which I love, and just a very soft pale blue. And that was kind of what I had in my mind when I started creating this card. And y'all, I just had fun with this because it's just my childhood of, make-believe doll houses and Christmas. I love creating Christmas scenes and Christmas ornaments and things like that. So this is the card I made for this week. And you can see it's called Joy's Gingerbread is the name of the little gingerbread bakery. And of course you have Joy herself holding a rolling pin that says gingerbread, and the little doormat to welcome you into the bakery says let's bake. And you have little gingerbread on the wreath, and then little gingerbread on the garland, and some snow down at the bottom. And then through the window you can see two little gingerbread in a cookie jar waiting for the next person to come in. And then on the side I have a little tie with some jingle bells and a little lily of the valley gingerbread tag. So that is what I made, y'all. And I had a lot of fun doing this. And as you can see, I even added 25 to kind of hint at Christmas with this. So, and then on the inside, I just did a little tiny envelope that says gingerbread kisses and Christmas wishes. So that's the inside, y'all. How fun is that? And that is my card. And it's got some glitter down here and a little bit of snow. And then I tried to glitter like all the ledges, like it was icy crystals. So sometimes that doesn't show up as well on the camera, but that's there. So I want to talk about all the fun little pieces I used to make this. So the first thing that I used was this, which was the background for the gingerbread store. And I have a confession to make. This is several years old. It did not come in a package. I ordered it off of eBay probably 2 or 3 years ago and not really paying attention to what I was doing. And it was from a vendor in China. And when it arrived, it was not in any packaging or didn't have a card or anything like that. And that's when I realized, you know, I had ordered something that was probably not original to, you know, whoever designed this. And so I felt very, very bad about that. And ever since then, I've tried to really double check that whatever I order from eBay is through the original designers and artists. But this one was not. But so I don't have a maker or anything like that for y'all, but I wanted to show y'all because I did use this as kind of the base layer for the card to build out on. And it was just 2 pieces. It was the outline of the storefront and then the storefront itself. And the other thing is, and this is just a personal preference too, I usually try to stay away from some of these because this style, let me say it like that, because to me it's very hard on your die cut machines because it's so wide, it puts a lot of pressure going through. You don't really have enough room to turn it sideways, and then you're kind of forced to make so many cuts of the entire image to try to get the pieces to paper piece. But anyway, just wanted to add that in. If you ever shop for larger dies and stuff, that's something to keep in mind. But that is how I came by that. And I am so sorry, y'all, that I don't have a maker. And I certainly wish I knew who the original designer was for it because it is quite lovely. So that is the background of the little gingerbread shop. And I wanted to show y'all, this is kind of the other one that I started working on, which I was doing in just the true traditional red and greens. And so I cut the base layer out of red and then the inner out of green and white stripe and started adding the elements on just out of white. And then you can see I was just working with cutting the different pieces to kind of layer on to give you the inside of the little gingerbread bakery. So that's kind of how it was assembled. And I wanted to wait and show y'all kind of how you can layer it with different papers to give you that look. So I told y'all can be really surprised. There's no peaks in this video. And I tried to go very traditional with this one and just a softer version with the one on the right. But this is the background, and that's what I started with. And then for the ginger girl, y'all, this of course is Jill's Joyful Heart by Jill Norwood that she designed, and they're available on the Peachy Keen Stamps website. And this is the Gingerbread Joy stamp set. And y'all, I just thought she was absolutely adorable. So much fun. And y'all know I love to paper piece. So I could not wait to do a scene with her to paper piece. And she comes with so many stamps. Really everything that I use for this was part of this set, just kind of altered and tweaked into different ways. I think I tried to use just about everything. I didn't use the large stars or the hearts, but I think I used really just about everything else in this. The 2 gingerbread are the ones that are in the candy jar. The medium-sized gingerbread is what I put on the wreath. And the 2 tiny ones are what I used on Joy's gingerbread sign. So that are the main things. The little tiny Joy stamp is what I put on Joy's apron. And then where it says Let's Bake on the doormat, I used this, and y'all, I just stamped it twice and masked because it was vertical and I wanted it horizontal. So I just stamped it 2 separate times to get the Let's Bake going horizontal. So I used that. And for Gingerbread Joy, I masked the joy off and just used the gingerbread to stamp gingerbread on her tiny rolling pin that she's holding. So that's all the pieces, all the stamps that were used on the front. And if you can notice, she doesn't have her sweet little ginger feet and pantaloons on in this, because I wanted her just to kind of have more of that little house on the prairie dress look in this. So I did trim her feet and her pantaloons off. Uh-oh, y'all, my little bow fell off. So this is what she stamps like. And I just trimmed her feet off. So I was working with just the dress as the bottom without her feet. And it also kind of helped me shorten her a little for the particular scene that I was doing. And I used the VersaFine Claire Pine Cone ink, and I inked the stamp and stamped it off once before doing my final stamp, because I didn't want it to be a heavy dark brown, and you can see it gives you a lighter brown color. So I did do that on everything. And I wanted to show y'all, these are a bunch of the ginger pairs stamped out, where I was just kind of playing and to make the ones for the cookie jar. And I wanted to show y'all, let's see, really quick, kind of how I get my coloration that I use most of the time for my ginger people. I use a combination of the Distress Ink Vintage Photo and the Distress Ink Tea Dye to do my gingerbread colors. And depending on how heavy or light or dark I want them, I get a little bit on a blender brush and I kind of tap it off, and I just kind of move it around on top of it. And the more you do it, you know, you can change the colors and get it darker, but I just kind of play with it and build layers until I get it the color darkness that I like. But I think it gives you a, I don't know, just a fun, true kind of grainy gingerbread look. And then I'll just kind of darken it with some of the Vintage Photo. And you just kind of keep layering it until you get your colors. And then after I cut them out, y'all, that's when I go back around with one of my little edgers. And y'all know I use these little makeup applicators. And I just usually hit the edge with Vintage Photo. So it looks like they have a little dark crispy edge. Y'all can see. Let me show y'all. See how the little edges are darker? I just usually go around with Vintage Photo on the edges, so they look like they're baked. And I did that up here with this one too that's in the envelope. So I wanted to mention that if you've never seen any of my videos of how I kind of color my ginger people, and then, you know, just add different browns in until you find the combination that works for you and the color that you're kind of, that you love and that you want to use. But I did want to mention that. So let me move these back over. For her little rolling pin, I used the little rolling pin from the My Creative Time set. It is Christmas Charm Dies. I think it's D474. I will put these in my description so you'll have all the details. But I cut them out, and you can see these are the charms, so they all have the little hooks on them. I just clipped the hooks off after I cut them out, so it was just, you're just left with her tiny rolling pin in her hands. So I wanted to mention that. Let's see what else, y'all. This is new for this year. I had I think a gift card or something from Michael's. And I picked this up this year, 2024. It's part of their Recollections stamp and die set. And it has wreaths and bows. And so I used this wreath for the wreath on the door. And that's what I use for that. And that's a duplicate one that I made and just colored. And as y'all can see, it's not as filled in as that. So I just brushed some extra green on it to kind of fill it in. For the cookie jar that is inside the window, I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm trying to film clear on clear. It's a little difficult. But inside the window that the little gingerbread men are in the little cookie jar, I have this old set from Fun Stamper's Journey. And it comes with this cookie jar. And it is Holiday Cookies SS069. And you can probably, and y'all, I wanted to mention this too. It's red rubber. They had lovely designs. I'm sure you can find this on eBay. It's, oh, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 years old, but I wanted to mention that. Has lots of good pieces with it. Let's see what else I used. I used the new holiday tags from Lily of the Valley for this little guy right here that's hooked on the side until I knocked it off. This little gingerbread tag. I don't have the brown envelope, y'all, that this came in. When it was delivered to me, I'm not sure what happened to it. I was hoping maybe it was just water, but it was some sort of oil had penetrated the envelope and had penetrated the brown, lovely envelopes that Lily of the Valley sends, you know, your stuff in for storage. So I had to throw it away. But I used this one, the little gingerbread tag. And I just, so many cute icons on this set. So I wanted to mention that. And also from Lily of the Valley, this is the Cocoa and Gingerbread tag set. It has this lovely little cutting board style in it that says Gingerbread Kisses and Christmas Wishes. That is what I used inside as like a little letter in the envelope. I just trimmed the top off so it would be rectangle like a little letter. So I used that. And then this gingerbread is part of Jill's tiny gingerbread or medium-sized gingerbread in this set. So I used that. And y'all know I love vintage book paper, so I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I did with this. This tag is stamped just in the margins. I keep these little torn out pages on my desk all the time. And it was just stamped in the margin and cut out. And y'all can see how it just kind of gives you an instant vintage look. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the 25 that I used on the address for the door plate. I just flipped to page 25 in the book and cut the 25 out. So kind of think of using some of your old books like that too. And y'all know I just go to the repurposed store and go through and find fun old books to use. So I wanted to mention that. I used from Fun Stamper's Journey this baby envelope die, D10410, and that is the envelope that is used inside. And I just added a little bit of lace to the bottom and an envelope liner for a little more color. I also used this from Mementa, which is just cutting plates. And y'all, they don't name theirs really. I've had this for several years. As y'all can tell from a Hobby Lobby clearance before they discontinued all of the dies. But I used the largest rectangles on this, just the largest one. And then I just turned it up, long way oblong for the inside. So that's how I got the inside. And then I'll have to clip this back on. I left one of the loops out to clip that onto the outside. So that, y'all, is, oh, and then I did put a little glitter at the bottom. And then, like I said, a little glitter around the edges like frost. And I wanted to mention too, a couple of little things. I used some Stickles Gold just to do some tiny little gold dots on it, on the gingerbread tag and on the brown of the card. I get these little circle pins. They're Tim Holtz. I usually just order them online. And that's what I have the tag and the bells clipped on with. And then for the snow and the frost, I use the Ranger Distress Rock Candy Glitter. So that is what I used. And then I just wanted to mention this. I use these little pop-up pieces. And I don't know, y'all, where I get these. Probably Michael's or Hobby Lobby, somewhere like that. Everywhere has them. Just so I could raise the ginger girl up just a little bit. So she would be popped up some. And then, y'all, the gold is just pipe cleaner. And I just bent the pipe cleaner to try to look like garland. And glued it on with a little bit of Eileen's glue. And y'all, that is my ginger card. And I had such fun doing this. A lot of fun. So that is it, y'all. I hope everybody has a good week. And I will see y'all in a few days.